UFC Vegas 107. This is MEKHI'S Money Making Plays. We're going to go through with the lock of the week, my most confident picks, my favorite underdogs, and then we're going to wrap the video up with our parlays. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into the video. Now, I know we had, a lot of fights fall through since, we last recorded. As you can see, Oban Elliott versus Ramiz Brahimaj fell through. Elliott had some visa issues. Sekyong KO versus Billy Ray Golf fell through, visa issues. Gustafson was originally supposed to fight Jeremiah Wells. That fight was canceled. Now they got another replacement. Markel Medeiros withdrew. There's a lot of, scrambling going on for this card. Surprised that we actually still have a fight card, but I'm going to give you guys my updated picks for, the fights that they were able to make. So starting off, we got Andreas Gustafsson taking on Trevin Giles. I'm going to pick Gustafsson. I think his pressure is going to be, a little too much for Trevin Giles to handle. I know Trevin Giles is a really good boxer, and there's a lot of people that I believe are, trying to pick him as a underdog in this fight. But at Gustafsson, he just comes forward like a dog with rabies. Honestly, he's gonna pressure Trevin Giles. I think he's gonna probably, gas him late second round, early third round. I think, he's definitely in a better shape as he was preparing for a fight, whereas Trevin Giles is just coming in on short notice. They're actually fighting at 185, which, could benefit Giles' chin a little bit, but I think Gustafsson might be able to get him out of there. This dude walks forward like a zombie, and Trevin Giles really likes to operate in space where he can, let his combinations flow. I don't think Gustafsson's going to give him any room to do that. So I think I'm going to say Gustafsson with probably a late finish, but I definitely think he's going to, put it on Trevin Giles. And then next up, we got, where are we? Ramiz Brahimaj taking on Billy Ray Golf now. Billy Ray was supposed to fight Cole. I'm going to pick Billy Ray Golf. I think he's the better striker in this matchup. I think his pressure is going to, give him a lot of success. I like his combinations in the pocket a lot more than Brahimaj. Brahimaj's, competition level isn't where Billy Ray Golf's is. I mean, yes, this is not his debut, but what is he, 3 fights into the UFC, 2 fights into the UFC? Where Brahimaj, he's been trading wins and losses. He's been out for a little bit, minus, the Mickey Gall KO, but Mickey Gall was 7-6 at that time. He's not, I think Billy Ray Golf would have did the same thing. So look at, comparing their opponents, I like Billy Ray Golf's style a lot better. He was getting tossed around by Thema Garimbo. Got the win over Michael Gilmore, but again, Court McGee was able to, handle him. I like Billy Ray Golf. His pressure, his pace, his body work. I think he's going to put it on Ramiz Brahimaj, and he might be live for a finish. But yeah, you can definitely tell the UFC scrambling. At least these guys were able to, or were willing to take this fight. And I think Oban Elliott is fighting somebody. He's fighting Cole June 21st. So yeah, a lot of scrambling. I think that's the Baku card. So I think, and then I skipped one. We got Balaji Oki taking on Michael Aswell. I'm going to take Balaji Oki. Originally, I was picking Markel Medeiros. I think his, switch style would definitely benefit him in this matchup, but I think Balaji Oki might be a little too much for Michael Aswell in this matchup. He actually, fought Yadier Davalle, what is it, almost 2 years ago now. Lost a unanimous decision, but he was, trading some pretty good shots. But I think Balaji Oki's jab is gonna, give him a lot of success in this fight, and I think it might be probably a close decision fight. Michael Aswell's not, chump or anything like that, but short notice. Don't really like that for him, to make his debut. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll give him another fight for him stepping up like he is. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Balaji Oki. You can see he's a big favorite, more than likely because it's a short notice fight. But yeah. All right, so now that we're done recapping or predicting, more fights. Last fight card, we didn't have any success with the parlay that we tried. We went with Ruzaboyev inside the distance and Rodolfo Bellato inside the distance. Bellato, unfortunately, had to pull out of his fight because of a medical issue. And then, as you can see, Nursultan Ruzaboyev did not get the finish. So another parlay lock fails. But we're not going to try it again this week. I got some really good confidence in my lock this week. I think he could be live for a finish as well. And I'm not really understanding, why the odds are as wide as they are, but I'm definitely going to take it. I like underdogs. I like savage dog locks. I like plus money. So without further ado, here's this week's lock of the week. Bruno Lopez plus 165. I think he can handle Dustin Jacoby in this fight. We are in the Apex. Bruno Lopez is very comfortable with the Apex. He made his debut on the Apex. He's fought 2 or 3 times, I believe, there. Dustin Jacoby, he's a long-rangey kickboxer. He's going to need a lot of space to move around, stay on the outside, pick his shots, whereas Bruno Lopez is going to be up in his grill for the majority of the fight. I think he also has the ability to take him down, utilize some grappling, utilize some ground and pound, make him very uncomfortable there. I think Bruno Lopez also has a power edge. I like the activity up in the pocket as well. Dustin Jacoby, he's getting a lot of hype over that Vitor Petrino knockout, but Vitor Petrino is not a very intelligent fighter, I gotta say. When you look at, Vitor Petrino compared to Bruno Lopez is a more complete, better IQ, better understanding of the fight game type of fighter. So I think Bruno Lopez definitely is going to win in this spot. I think he's live for a finish as well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's submission. He's got maybe 4 or 5 submission victories under his record now, and it's been pretty consistent from him as well, showing off his jiu-jitsu. And I think I'm leaning into the Brazil revenge angle. I don't think, not that he cares about Vitor Petrino, but I think, he's going to have some pride for his country fella that got absolutely brutalized. And I think he's going to come back and get the revenge for him. I like Bruno Lopez, and I definitely think he's live for a finish over Dustin Jacoby, who's also aging. Yes, he got the crazy knockout over Vitor Petrino, but let's not forget, the last time he was in the Apex was 3-4 years ago against Khalil Roundtree. Lost the ugly decision there, but he's more comfortable with the bigger cages where he's been able to move around, but he's also been getting knocked out. Dominic Reyes knocked him out, and then I can't remember who else. But yeah, I like plus money. I like underdogs, and Bruno Lopez is both of those. So give me Bruno Lopez plus 165, lock of the week. Moving on to the most confident picks, we're going with Aaron Blanchfield, Jordan Levitt, and Macy Chiasson. I think Aaron Blanchfield, having the 5-round experience with Manon Fior, with Rose Namajunas, who she beat pretty handily. She went tough 5 rounds with Manon, but that experience is definitely going to, weigh in her favor against Macy Barber, who hasn't fought 5 rounds in her career yet. Yes, they're both young, hungry prospects, but I like what I've seen from Aaron Blanchfield more than Macy Barber. Macy, she's really active on the feet. I like her. I don't really like her striking. It's more of like a type of style. A lot of output, but I don't think she's gonna have much success when she's fighting Aaron Blanchfield. She's actually a really sneaky grappler as well. Well, not a grappler. Excuse me, a striker. I think she can definitely let go some kicks and keep Macy Barber at bay. Utilize grappling. I definitely think Aaron Blanchfield is a better grappler than Macy Barber. Take her down. Find some success. Maybe she doesn't. I don't think she's gonna necessarily finish Macy Barber, but it wouldn't be off the table. But I definitely like Aaron Blanchfield in this spot. I think with a win here, she'll definitely be setting herself up for a #1 contender fight, lining herself up for a title shot pretty soon. But yeah, I think Aaron Blanchfield definitely gets it done. Next up, we got the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, who I really don't like picking at all. I just don't like this guy for no reason at all, but I think, his wrestling is definitely going to give him the edge in this fight. Kurt Hollabaugh does not have good takedown defense. He's too willing to grapple out of position to try to find a submission. And Jordan Levitt has pretty good control. I know he lost to Chase Hooper last time out, but Chase Hooper is a very good, jiu-jitsu practitioner. We saw that with the fight with Jim Miller although he wasn't able to get the finish, but, he showed the variety of submissions that he had in his bag. But I do think Jordan Levitt can hang with Kurt Hollabaugh on the feet. I would like to see Kurt knock him out, but I just think Jordan he can hang with him on the feet, and he'll be able to take Kurt Hollabaugh down pretty much at will. I will say though, third round, if they make it there, I could see Kurt coming out pretty heavy. Definitely pushing Jordan Levitt back up against the cage, and trying to find a finish. But like I said, ultimately the wrestling is what leaned me towards Jordan Levitt initially, so I got to stick with it. And last up, we're going Macy Chiasson. I think she's gonna, fare well against Caitlin Vieira. I like her ability to mix it up. I like her striking a lot better. She's very long and wiry. If she's able to take Caitlin Vieira down, it's going to be very hard for her to get back up to her feet. But I will say this probably will be a tick for tack type of battle. But I definitely lean Macy Chiasson to get it done. And I want to say she's probably one of the only top 5 that hasn't fought for a belt. If I can, I'll pull up the rankings real quick just to confirm. But with a really good showing here, she could definitely throw her name into the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if she fights the loser of a Pena versus if she fights the loser of a Pena versus Harrison, with Amanda Nunes possibly coming back. She's flirting with retirement and whatnot. But yeah, I could definitely see her fighting the loser of the title shot. If she's, shows a really good performance here, she has a really good win over Norma Dumont. She did fight Raquel Pennington, fortunately lost, but it was a really close fight. I don't think they're going to do a rematch there. But yeah, I like Missy Chiasson. I think she's going to be able to beat Caitlin Vieira, probably 29-28. But I definitely like her, grappling edge, and I like her striking a lot better. Moving on to my favorite underdogs, we're going with Ludovic Klein and Trevin Giles. Now I know I'm not picking Trevin Giles, but I will say he does have a chance to, land something clean early on in the fight against Andreas Gustafsson. He does walk forward, a lot with his head super high. He was getting, pieced up by I believe his name was Patek. And that fight got clipped a few times. Trevin Giles is a really good boxer. If he's able to, find those openings, if he's able to fare off the pressure for a little bit and, let his hands go, I can see him, piecing Gustafsson out or Gustafsson up. Not saying he's going to knock him out, but I just have to, put that out there. Not picking him again, but out of all the underdogs, him and Ludovic Klein were probably 2 that I definitely wanted to hone in on. And then as for Ludovic Klein, I think he has the capability to knock Gamrot out. He is aging a little bit. His chin has definitely been fading. You look at the Dan Hooker fight. Dan Hooker was able to clip him up a few times. I know Dan Hooker and Ludovic Klein are 2 different, style of fighters, but Ludovic Klein, he has some decent power, and if he's able to, defend majority of the takedown attempts, I think he can be live to knock Gamrot out, or at least, pick him apart for 3 rounds. I think it's definitely going to be a hard fight. I could definitely see it going back and forth. Probably a split decision if he doesn't knock him out. But I do like Ludovic Klein at least more than Trevin Giles. So I had to put him up here. Favorite underdogs. We only got 2. As you know, Bruno Lopez is the lock of the week, sitting at plus money as well, underdog. But yeah, if you want to throw him in there, I'm not, putting him up in the underdogs where I got him as the lock of the week. But yeah, Trevin Giles, Ludovic Klein, 2 favorite underdogs. Now let's go to everybody's favorite section, MEKHI'S money making plays or parlays. First up, we're going with Zach Reese, Jordan Levitt money line. Really simple. I'm also keeping the volume low for this card. We got UFC 318 coming up next. So I didn't want to, go all out for this, or excuse me, UFC 316, not 18. Go all out for this Apex card that I'm not really fond of at all. And we got a lot of, scrambled fights too. So gonna keep the volume a little low on this one. But yeah, Zach Reese, Jordan Levitt money line plus 118. Like both of those guys to win in these spots. Zach Reese fighting, Dusko Todorovic, who I don't like at all. His striking is pretty bland. He's also been pretty chinny as well. I think Zach Reese could definitely handle him. Definitely live for a finish, but I wouldn't go out and chase it. So easy, real quick plus money right there. I think both of those fighters come through for me as well. And then next up, we're going Aaron Blanchfield and Andreas Gustafsson money line plus 130. Again, same story. I do think Aaron Blanchfield fight will be a little closer, but I do think she ultimately gets it done. I think she'll be able to handle Macy Barber. Then we're going with Billy Ray Goff inside the distance. Alan Nascimento versus Filio. Fight does not go the distance. Both of those guys, have been out for a little bit. We don't know what they're going to look like. We don't know how, we really don't know what to expect from this fight. But I do think they're both trying to make a splash and try to get their names back, in people's favor. So I will expect a high pace, fight. And with high pace fights, a lot of the times they don't go the distance. So that's why I threw that up there. And like I mentioned earlier when I was breaking down the Goff Brahimaj fight, I do like Billy Ray Goff's, combinations in the pocket. I think he'll be able to find Brahimaj as well. And to throw a little Hail Mary, we're going Ludovic Klein KO and Bruno Lopez inside the distance KO or submission. Like I said, Dustin Jacoby, he has been knocked out in the past. And Bruno Lopez also likes, he's been finding a lot of arm triangles. So if he's able to take Dustin Jacoby down, I wouldn't see why not. He wouldn't be able to get a submission here. But chasing one or the other, I get burnt on those. So I'd rather just go inside the distance. That gets us, plus 1825. That's really shooting for the stars. But hey, I really think that has a chance to come through, especially with Gamrot's chin fading, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I got this week for MEKHI'S money making plays. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of the the breakdown again, since we had so many fight cancellations. Let me know what you guys think of the lock of the week. My favorite most confident picks, the underdogs, the plays. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys Friday for the weigh-in recap. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.